Well done, everyone. Congratulations on completing the first paper of your Leaving Cert journey. I think for many students, there was a stabilising familiarity to paper one, having reviewed the paper there just a little bit earlier. I think many of you would be reassured by that familiarity. Question A, for example, and question B, the format of the questions followed the familiar format of questions from previous papers. The theme of the paper was perspectives, but I think really across all three texts there was also an emphasis on optimism and the idea of overcoming challenges and the idea of positivity. So it was, I suppose, a reassuring paper from that point of view as well. In terms of question A, we had our old friends. Question A1 asked you for 3 insights. Question A2 was a what do you think type task. And question A3, as in previous years, you had to identify and explore the efficacy of different stylistic and technique elements of these texts. So once more, a reassuring familiarity with in terms of the question format. The questions B this year followed the format of previous years in terms of the shape of the questions. You were asked to address an umbrella task, and below that umbrella task you had 3 things to do. So again, those of you who would be familiar with previous papers would have felt a degree of confidence in completing that task. A very broad, I think, approach where the question B was concerned. We had 2, if you like, online texts that you could choose and then a talk. So nothing that's particularly unfamiliar for question B. And the idea of this online text or the website text and so on and so forth is something that I think students will be familiar with and more comfortable with perhaps than other years. The prompts were accessible to students and I felt that there was enough of a challenge for students to, I suppose, approach these question B tasks in a nuanced manner. And, you know, in the preparation phase, it was nearly as important, I feel, what you left out as what you put in. There was such a broad scope with these questions and the genres that you were asked, that you were tasked with for your question B. Now, finally, in terms of the compositions, again, they were in line with previous Leaving Cert papers. We had 2 personal essays. We had the discursive options, your discursive essay or feature article and so on. And then you had 2 short stories. Where the personal essays was concerned, in one of the discursive options, I suppose there was an awareness of the shifting stands of the political situation, not just in Ireland, but I suppose also globally. So that would appeal to students who have that interest, I suppose, in current affairs. And at the same time, there was plenty of scope for the more creative students, if you like, who are into story writing and narrative writing and so on with the 2 short story options. And again, with the personal essay, what I found interesting again, for example, with option 6, write a personal essay in which you reflect on some of the factors that would influence your voting intentions in future elections. Again, that would appeal to many of you who have interest in, you know, current affairs and what's happening in Ireland at the moment. So, you know, I think the question setters were acutely aware of the world of the young person as it is now in 2025. And as I said at the beginning of this short review, although the theme of the paper was perspectives, I felt that the emphasis was very much on optimism and overcoming challenges, particularly with text 2, Margaret Atwood's text, you know, the ability and that vigour and poise and energy of youth to overcome challenges in the future. So I think ultimately this paper was familiar. I think it was something that should give you confidence and assurance as you face into the rest of your exams. And on that point, I wish you all the very best in the rest of those exams and into the future.